Up, guys? It's Tracy VA, and I'm back again with another interview. Today, I got my very special guest. Their name is Manny.
How y'all doing? How y'all doing?
First off, can you say something to the audience, okay? Because I know you guys have not seen me do interviews in such a while, but y'all know I'm a new mom now, and I'm back in VA, so I'm simply adjusting. But Manny, like, how's the holidays treating you? First off.
Everything is good. A little busy. We travel for the holidays. I'm from Baltimore, Maryland. My girlfriend, she's from Portsmouth, Virginia, so we traveled all the day to come up here to spend time with her family. So it's pretty good though so far. So we about to get into the festivities soon.
With like matching pajamas and whatnot.
All of that.
Oh, that's what I'm talking about.
All of that. All of that.
So, guys, once again, to the episode of Live with Tracy podcast, and I got my special guest Manny. For those of you that don't know Manny, he's a very special person in the music industry. He is the head of Scorelight Music Group, which is offers a full suite of music production services designed to elevate every creative project. They offer music production for artists, composing powerful film scores, creating sync-ready compositions, crafting jingles, songwriting, and engineering. So this just sounds like a powerhouse for anybody that takes music very serious, right?
Yeah, yeah. I created it last year. I started producing 2 years ago. Learning keys, probably around the same time 2 years ago. I've been a drummer all my life. Um, I played I played since I was probably like 7, 8. I started playing professionally during a pandemic, recording on tracks, gospel tracks and such, recording for churches and stuff like that. And then I had a curiousness on, I just
Business.
yeah, I had a curiousness when it came down to just beat making. I pull up a video, it was a producer named Zaytoven and
It will inspire you for sure.
and I was like, I mean, he made this crazy beat in like 5 minutes, and I'm like, I gotta get there. So I learned the keys and started reaching out to artists, and I met my first artist down here in Baltimore, well up there in Baltimore, and she goes by Jim. She's a rapper and a singer.
Can you spell the name?
Gem.
Okay, okay.
She's a beast. A beast. She sings as well. She raps. She raps as well as she sings. We have a project coming out. Then I met some other people through social media, link up and stuff like that. So yeah, everything's been moving along with us. I'm in talks with some people with sync placements with my instrumentals and also with some of the music projects that we finished early this year. One of the songs that might get placed was with what one of my friends that I produced for. I met him through social media. He's out of, I want to say, Tampa, Florida. His name is Black Strings, and crazy lyrics.
Right?
Yeah, crazy lyrics. The storyteller. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, everything's moving well. I'm also talking to some people for some film scoring things that's happening in the upcoming year. Some YouTube channels also. So yes, so it's been great.
It's amazing, and that's amazing. It sounds like everything is flowing for you effortlessly because from what I hear, when people, make music and they transition into the industry, it's difficult. But for you, it sounds like it's been a breeze.
Looks are deceiving. I must say it
Thanks to
has,
the highs and the lows.
yeah, and it has its challenges where one of the things I wanted to pride my production company on is taking upcoming artists, talented ones, right? We do. I create everything from scratch, right? I play the keys, I do the drums, I do the melodies, I see the project from the beginning to the end, and I think that's missing in the industry where people, especially producers, they would, and I'm not trying to jump on no producers. Your process is your process, but I feel like a producer is a person who produces from the beginning to the end, whether that's the giving creative input, but definitely making all of your the components for the beat from scratch. For us, I wanted that Scorelight sound, that Scorelight signature soulful sound that I bring to it. I want us to be known for that. And with the artists, I had to dig through the hay to find the serious ones.
How
I
did
had
you do it? What's your take us maybe like give us like three signs where they're serious and three signs that they not serious because there's a lot of artists out here that they'll drop music but wanting to be a part of a team or even taking the necessary steps to be like an established artist.
yeah.
Don't quickly do that.
I'll say the number one sign I look for is when an artist start asking me questions and telling me their goals. Like it's been some people that I've reached out to, like, yo, you talented, we can create something legendary.
Mm.
And the response they give me may be so lackadaisical, right? Where it's like, okay, I want to hear the rest of it, but I can take it or leave it. The people that I work with, like, Black Strings, Jim, my man 1998 out of New York.
These are
Um,
your upcoming artists for Scorelight.
yeah, and Yan B, the one I'm producing for now. These people was overly enthusiastic for this. Overly enthusiastic, like, oh man, I've been looking for somebody like you. I've been, I want to build X, Y, and Z, and they want to make a lot of music. That's one of the things. So, to get back to your question, so the first sign that I look for when it like for a series is that just that enthusiasm. It has,
Questions.
yeah, it has nothing to do with money, because the fact of the matter is, the most money we'll make is on it later. I think it gets better later. That's how I try
I
to.
agree. I agree.
Yeah, it gets better later. So, to try to scrape for pennies now, and I'm charging you, just ridiculous amounts, where whether you pay that or not, it can be at the expense of a relationship.
Mm.
You see what I'm saying? So if you ask me, do I rather get paid right now $100,000, but I lose that person and lose that potential catalog that we could build, or can I wait and then build it with them? I'm gonna always choose the wait. I'm gonna always choose the long game, and um, I'm
Yeah.
I'm big on relationships. I'm big on relationships.
Yeah. And what about a sign that, it's not worth investing my time to?
It's a lot, but
I'll give you one.
yeah, I mean, what you thinking?
Just they want to just copy somebody else's wave or path. And it's a lot of, me being a music reviewer and stepping into, working and building independent artists. You can't say, I want to be like this person. I'm going to do X, Y, and Z. It's like, what do you do? Like, what do you want out of this?
Yeah, what's your identity? And I think the biggest pet peeve that I think I have when I reach out to artists and they claim they're serious is the communication is trash. I
Throw it in the garbage.
I hate bad communication skills, because if I told you right now that we can blow up next week, you'll be texting me, you be double texting me, you be doing everything. Just that, but I think that stems from a belief, right? Or, because everybody's a bad texter if in their own right. But if I tell you that if you have,
Guilty.
yeah, I mean, if I tell you if you have an opportunity next week to change your whole life, all you gotta do is have good communication. Everybody's be just they will just text back in a second, right?
Well,
So
subject line in the email, introduction. Hey, how are you doing? Happy
yeah,
Tuesday.
that's what I'm saying. So this the
Etiquette.
communication. Yeah,
Mhm.
or just being, because even though this is a unique career path where it's not like you got HR. No, it's not none of that. If you have, but you still need a professionalism to it,
Mhm.
where communication is huge, your work ethic is huge, um your willingness to be produced. That's one thing that I really am very happy that God sent me these type of artists where
Yeah, I was about to ask you the question. What excites you the most working with these upcoming artists? Get
they're
into it.
they're willing to be produced. They're willing to learn, like, what, they will send me something that's just tough, right? And I'm like, but right there it can make it even more tougher if you do it X, Y, and Z. And then I'll ask them, what are your thoughts, right?
Mhm.
And they will always be like, I'm about to change it right now so we can see, and let's see
Mhm.
how it sounds, and then we can compare the two. you know, stuff like that is what really makes me enjoy producing them. A lot of artists want beat makers, so just send a beat, right? That
Pass
don't
through. We could be in a whole different other sides of the country and no
mean
connection.
none. And I tell every artist that I am interested in working with, and I tell them, I said, I like doing live studio sessions, virtually, or if we live in the same city, meet up because I want you to see how I get down when it come to producing. Let you
Yeah.
know, and then I want them to feel the soul and the liveliness of how I play and how
Mm.
I produce. I like to make music that make me go like oof, right? So if I know I'm gonna go oof, they gonna go oof.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I want them to feel that. I want them to feel like this ain't no beat maker.
Yeah.
This ain't no person who's going to just drag and drop. He makes this from the heart.
Mm.
And that's the thing I want my company to identify with, where this
Mm.
you're gonna take everything that you saying, your life experience. Let's have a conversation. Where you coming from, right?
Yeah.
What's your story? Okay, so
Mhm.
let me try to communicate that through these keys. Let me try to communicate that in every kick that I do, whatever the case may be. But that's what I want because usually the artists that I start to produce for, we have like a 2 hour conversation. It starts with music and then they'll say, but yeah, I did this last year and last year this happened because I did, and then it turns to a whole life story. Now I got something with
Yeah.
you.
You got the meat, you got the meat to it. Yeah, you
Yeah,
got yeah.
now I see where you coming from. Now I see if you coming from a gritty background. So now I'm gonna put more grittiness into the music, or you coming from a emotional one. So now I need to pull on the heartstrings a little bit more.
That's amazing. I feel like everybody needs a Scorelight music group in their life.
I pray that we are that person or we're that company in your life. If you're serious and if you are willing to put the work in, and because everybody have a story to tell, but not really anybody. I wouldn't say anybody, but a lot of people are not willing to tell it. They're not willing to put the work in to get their story heard on the biggest platforms, or they're not willing to put the work in and get their story heard in a way that captures the hearts of the people. Because I tell my artists as well, I said, you don't create fans just by sounding good. It's a lot of people who sound good. You create them by your song brings up a memory.
Mm.
Your song brings up a feeling. So now they feel like they know you.
Because you said a hot take earlier in this conversation where you were talking about like they get it mixed up with what production is and what a producer is. You gave your side to that. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Now they definitely get it twisted. I mean, I, I just think that like I take so much pride in my sound. I take so much pride in my production that I feel, I don't think that people should do it like me. I'm not the standard. I feel like you should do it the way you feel. But I think beat maker and producer are two different things. And even I would throw in a loop maker, people who just make melodies and send it off to producers or to other beat makers, and the beat maker put the drums to it. And I'm not going to call on names or anything, but um it's a lot of people who do that, and they label a producer, but I don't think I can relate to that.
Do you think that the hip hop system or music system overall, do you think it needs to be reworked in that producer part? Because there's a lot of producers that you got have producers that don't really care to be seen. They just they get their money, move on with their life, and then you got producers like I'm gonna be just as as the artist. So do you think it possibly needs to be reworked like when in the producer world where it's like we got the loop maker, we got the beat maker, we got the executive producer, we got the producer. Do you think that would be fair, or do you think they'll be like hell no?
I think honestly, I don't see no way for it to be reworked that's going to work for everybody. So I think because the on I'm coming from a place of how I feel, right? This is how if it was a perfect world, I would push every beat maker and loop maker, specifically the beat makers who do not know how to make the soul capturing melodies, right? That's why they hire the musicians. to make some melody that's beautiful, right? I will push them to learn the learn the keys. Like I said, I came from playing drums, right? I
Try
came,
to learn. Not
yeah,
no beep, boop, boop, boop.
yeah.
What's the pad? I got this little pad right here. They just be.
I'm about to say, as I'm saying, so I'm coming from a drum background where I put the time in for drums to get to a certain level. I really got into like the piano because my man, his name is James. We used to make a lot of music together, right? And we still, that's still my man to this day, man. I looked at the keys one day, and he's one of the best keyboard players I ever heard. And I'm like, I don't know how you do that. Look at all these keys. How do you know which one to go to which? And then he broke it down for me. And I'm like, man, there's only what? It's not that many keys in each scale, so whatever I want is within these notes, right? And then when you get to that point within those notes, now you learn the chords to those, and you start. I mean, I wish I had video of how I started playing. It was like,
Yeah. I wish I could learn. I cannot play not one instrument. I told you when I was in high school. They had me, I was in band class and then I had to learn to play the clarinet. I couldn't do it after a while. I was like, the saliva just kept dropping through the clarinet, just kept hitting the floor. But
yeah,
I always used to watch the drummers and I've always been just admired by the drummers. So I agree. Like, I think a lot of producers out there should, take their time to try to pick up
please.
something just outside of, the program. Try to at least like learn the keys. You'll be surprised what you can do.
If you just learn just one instrument, when you learn one instrument, it just snowballs after that, so
Mm. Mm. Yeah.
yeah, it snowballs after that.
Right. I had another, that was a hot take, but besides that, you made me think of another question. So you were talking about Scorelight Music Group and this soulful music you guys make and how much effort you put into. So for that, do you confidently feel like it has been easy for you with the sounds that you guys are moving out of your company to possibly like fit in like mainstream world?
Yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. I think,
This is what's hot right now, it's a lot of unseriousness going on.
yeah, and it's like I think I and I want to say it delicately because again, people have their own ear, but I think a lot of this music it becomes a little soulless because when you was in the 90s, right, the early 2000s, right?
Got
So
it.
one of my favorite producers is Brian Michael Cox. And this,
Okay.
it is all the Usher stuff, and he got Mariah Carey on his catalog, right? Keyboard
Mm,
player, grew up in church, right?
mm,
That soulful sound, that sound that
mm.
makes your heart full, that be like, oh man, he can just play that the rest of the time and I can be okay with it. And I think that, and I tell my artists, I said, I don't want to just make music for just people enjoyment. Let this music take care of you 30, 40 years from now. Allow it to be sync worthy, where it's in different shows and different movies because it fit. And that's what timeless music is. It fits in the era. And not only does it fit in the air, it produces the same effect that it did in the previous era. If we put on Can We Talk by Teddy, everybody.
We talk like I'll be like, really? Can we talk? I
I'm
mean,
saying, I'm I'm saying, the lights will get low and we're gonna start, the men gonna start talking the octave lower. Because it's
yeah.
like but I'm pretty sure it was like that back then. You see
Yes.
what I'm saying?
The emotion, I'm not gonna lie, just I gotta be real on here. Like a lot of music, especially like in hip hop, it's just sounding dark to me. Like that's just my opinion.
Yeah.
And I miss like feeling like they can we like love on each other?
Yeah.
Can,
It's dark. It's dark. And it's I think because it's dark, it's soulless. Um,
Hmm.
and
We
because
fix it. How do we fix it?
you gotta want to, but it's also, I think it goes back to creating your own sound. Man, I fell in love with that soul, like really hearing and really trying to create what will make me want to listen.
Mm,
And I'm an old soul at heart. I smoke cigars. I listen to jazz. That's my favorite genre, right? I'm an old soul at heart,
I
right?
love that. Yeah.
Yeah. So I stay out the way. I just, So I just think for me, what I would want to hear when I'm chilling, smoking a cigar near the fireplace or whatever the case, I want to hear some smooth jazz. I want to hear some crazy runs or some soulful runs, or I want to hear some soulful singer, tell us about her past and where she at now. And I want her to deliver that in a way where I'm like, whew, my
I want
goodness.
to feel it again. I want to feel like I can relate again.
Yeah, like my goodness, I know somebody like that. And now a little tear come out, like it's all right, right? And a little tear come out, but
We feel something over here. Like,
you got to think about it. We don't feel nothing in today's music. I just don't. You
I
know,
just don't.
I can recall my favorite album was Drake. Nothing was the same, and the only reason why it's my favorite is because I got my license in 2013.
Bringing you back, right? Yeah.
And I remember at nighttime meeting up my friends at the mall, and I would just blast that whole album.
It just felt good. Like the overall aesthetic of it just feels like a breeze. Like even like the cover, I believe was the clouds, right?
The
Yeah.
Cloud,
It's like it feels like listening to it just feels like you're just on a cloud.
and then the reason why I still go crazy with that album today because I remember how I felt
Hmm.
back then. You see what I'm saying? So it was. I had a couple of people they
Taking
were
me back now.
yeah, I want to
Simpler
just
times.
a little bit, yeah, just a little bit. And I wanted one of my friends he was like yo your beats make me think about life, and that was
A compliment.
one of the greatest compliments. And everybody is another close friend, a brother of mine. His name is we go about he go by Sheik, and he's him and my cousin Tyrese. They're the two people that, and of course my lady Alicia, they were very supportive. But when I used to send my beats to them two, Sheik and Tyrese, they used to hit me like, yo, you have no business going like this, like going
Oh
crazy.
wow.
And
It's
they
just so
gave me
reassuring.
they gave me so much confidence. I mean, you have no like that because they know nothing about music.
Yeah.
They know nothing about the scales. They know nothing about harmony. They know nothing about the 1, 3, and 5. They know nothing about none of
But
that.
they were able to point out these things and shoot, you met me through
Yeah,
my music review show on TikTok. That was new to me. I've always been a music journalist for 10 years and that's where my audience knows me from, but I always wanted to do it. I was so scared, but I was just like, let I love music to the soul. So I was like, let me just take me. I don't know nothing about production,
yeah.
make music, but I'm just able to express these things. But that's what I know, like a song is really good when I'm able to just easily just express like how I feel about it.
I mean, if you think about it, the world out of 8 billion, 9 billion people, how many of them really are musically inclined where they know how to play an instrument or hold a note? It's very few.
Yeah.
It's very few people. And I tell the artists that I work with, I say, we're not making music for other artists or musicians. We're making it for the world. They don't care
Hairs.
about,
Let's talk about it.
they don't care. And I'm not saying don't take pride in the quality.
Of course.
I'm not saying to compromise quality for, okay, you said they don't care, so let's just, no, I'm not saying that at all. But I am saying that to overthink it,
Mm-hmm.
so unwise because now we're going to lose the feeling. Now we're going to lose this
You're taking
moment.
away the feeling. You're
We're
taking away
going to
the feeling.
we're going to lose this moment of what made this special. You know what I mean? So I tell them, I said, listen, we're making music for the other 90%. The other 10% of people who know what they know you may be a little flat here, a little sharp here, or that chord progression didn't make sense.
Yes.
Yeah, let them critique, right? Let them pick it apart. That's why they got people like you with the music reviews, and
Song you sent me has been fire.
I
I
appreciate
can
it.
confidently say that every song you sent me has fire. So everybody that's watching this episode, please check out Scorelight Music Group. Check out Manny and his music production and everything that he's capable of doing and how he's been able to develop these artists to where they sound amazing. I want to ask you this other question though, and you talk about a lot of sync placements. I am literally at this point in my life studying how to get artists to get sync placements. It's amazing. Well, what can I say? Can you share a piece of work from your, company or sync placements that you're specifically proud of and why? Because
Well,
I'm guessing it's the sync placements, right? That's huge.
yeah, we are in a process of we should hear back soon from a contact that we have. But sync is hard. Well, all the people who they would tell you like do this and do this for sync. It's really not that easy that I found. Well, for me, it wasn't. Um, I reached out to somebody that I thought had the influence, and she was an amazing person as well. And I asked her, I said, do you know anybody that where I can get these? Because I feel like the music that I produce and the instrumentals, they will resonate, on the screen, and I have this artist now named Yan B. He's multilingual. He speaks Spanish and he's a vibe on both languages. He's a vibe on both languages,
That's
and
talent.
that's a Saint gold mine. And I'm like, and he's one of the people who want to make a lot of music. So I'm like, how do I get a way in? And so um with this, with this contact that we're talking to, hopefully, some good news come back soon. But just where we're at with that journey is trying to create relationships. Because again, I'm not just
Relationships.
it's all about relationships. I'm not trying to hit you up when I need you and discard you when I don't. That's not what I'm trying to do.
Oh, I get those to my DM all the time. I'm like, damn, it's Tuesday. It's a Tuesday. And I think it's October. They do this every 10 years. So they come into the DM on the same day every year.
Yeah, I'm
I'm like,
not.
oh, you about to drop a project now, huh?
Yeah, yeah. So it's I don't want that. I don't
Yeah.
want that. And
Big turn off for independent artists that are watching this episode right now. Big turn off. Okay, we know, we can tell.
yeah, it's a huge where and with my faith in God, and the principles that I go through, where my conviction won't allow me just to use you for that. Because before I start to feel like that, I'll just cut it off. Because
Mm.
I won't feel right where I benefited, and now I'm cutting loose because now I can't benefit no more. That it just don't sit right with me, and I know that I answer to God for for such things as that. So I know when it comes to sync and when it comes to even film scoring and those things where it really requires you to know people. I try to reach out to film directors. I try to reach out to TV networks where I'm pitching not only just my services but myself, where I'm just saying that look, I'm trying to be a reliable person for you, not just musically, but wherever we can fit in, that can help you become complete as well as grow us at the same time. So that's the relationships are one of the cornerstones at Scorelight for sure. It's definitely one of the cornerstones where if you care about somebody or you care about a company that you're working with, you won't do certain things, and just to establish that type of trust is so crucial, I think, to a company's reputation. Reputation is everything. A reputation will get you in the door that money can't, and your talent can't either. So
Yeah.
yeah, that's what we try to do.
I love that. I love that. Shout out to Scorelight Music Group and everything you guys are doing, providing opportunity, and even coming on this conversation and dropping so many gems. We have 9 minutes here, but I do want to say I'm really happy that you were on this episode because that's where I am moving towards. Like, doing interviews and having these different conversations with people in the music industry. I really want to, like really supply these gems for people. But besides that, this conversation has been super fun. But to close this out, talking about Scorelight Music Group, like where can we find you? How can we support what you have going on and your artists and what is on the horizon?
Well, so we Score Like Music Group on all socials and our YouTube channel. We just made it. Um, I'm gonna start actually posting some cookups that I do live. I do some on TikTok, just so show people how I work. And what's on the horizon? We have a lot of projects coming up the first 3 months of next year. We have a lot of projects. Hopefully we have some things coming up with film scoring, and sync as well. So it's a lot that we have on the horizon. It's a lot that I'm trying to plan out where it's going to really make waves throughout the whole year. It's going to be a lot of music that's going to be releasing this whole year. So I want to make sure we start off with a huge bang, huge bang. So
How are you preparing for the new year? Because this was my last interview before we wrap up 2024.
Yeah.
How did you, Manny, of Scorelight Music Group, prepare for 2025?
I think we've been pretty consistent this year. This was like a really productive year. So I think just continue to keep the main thing where we finding the artists and being honest and say, we believe in you. Do you believe in us? This is our sound. Does it match what you're trying to do? Okay, let's work. Just just continue to and then push them to their limits and prepare for the blow up at any time. And we also do the live arrangements for them. So this is also when they perform live, we have performance tracks for them, and I'll pick out the band for them, and if it's a tour that's needed, then I'll hit the network of musicians that I have and keep it pushing like that. I definitely want to grow the production company in a way where we have label resources to give to the
The same type of time.
yeah. That's what that's
Label,
what
no label resources.
yeah.
Yeah.
So because I feel like people like us, we have. I think I have a pure heart where it's coming like, listen, we have the same goal. We trying to make a timeless music. We trying to make a timeless catalog. We're trying to do things in a way where we're going to be remembered forever. So that starts with a foundation of trust that I am who I say I am, not just by what I'm saying. Look what I'm doing,
Mhm.
right? So, and then
Doing.
so at the end of the day, that's the goal. So I think 2025 is going to be one of those years that we can look back and say this is where we started at. This is what trickled down everything. So God willing.
This 20 shook up a lot of, a lot of things came to the surface. 2025. The one thing I'm hoping for when it comes to music,
Hmm.
let's bring back real music. Let's feel something again.
Let's bring back the real. Let's stop the sampling of the whole song and just add in drums and say, "Look, I made the." Nah, man, I need to hear. I need to hear what put your imprint, put your DNA in the music. Let me hear you. I already heard Luther in them. I heard Luther in them. I heard
Love
Mariah.
to sample Luther Vandross.
I love Luther. I want to hear you. I want to hear you.
Right, y'all. Y'all need to tap in with Scorelight Music Group and checking everything that they have going on, everything that's on the way. Support them. They're doing amazing things for up and coming artists, and they're making quality music. And make sure you guys tune into, of course, my music review show every day on TikTok. Drop it in the comments what you guys think of this conversation and what was your favorite part. And go ahead and take us out, Manny.
I just want to thank you. If you were an artist, you would be the epitome of what I was looking for because the enthusiasm that that you had when I reached out and we talked and got to know each other, it was organic. This is what I look for in artists. It's what I look for in just partnerships and relationships on the business side.